Hi everyone, this is Krishna Chaitanya Ayagari, KC. I am a senior customer engineer working for Google based out of New York. Pleasure talking to you today. I'm here going to talk about building your first multiplayer dedicated game server on Kubernetes. So this is our agenda. We start with intros. We start with what game infrastructure looks like. We also talk about building the game, so entire multiplayer game the hard way. And we talk about against way. There are two ways I'll explain in this session. And we also find out what is the key difference between these two. We'll summarize, and that's pretty much today. So we already did intros. Nice talking to you all. And let's talk about the game infrastructure. So this is the typical game infrastructure looks like. Just to understand, the game infrastructure is a backend where a player connects and plays a particular game. And there are multiple pieces of game servers today. There is a front end, there will be a back end, and the front end have game platform services. Game platform services are where you'll have leaderboard, match history, matchmaking, online lobby, chat, authorization, group, profile, etc. This is a database where you'll have all of the services where you have all the information required, which makes all these products work. The dedicated game servers is where exactly players connect and play. Now, dedicated game servers, need a database essentially to persistently store a record, and typically which is kind of the backend database. And you also have analytics, and this is where you'll have a lot of queries, how you can understand the game playing events, etc. So all these different processes interact with each other. Game platform services work and takes data from or writes data to game database. Dedicated game servers keep on sending information to analytics stack. If you high level understand, these are the four building blocks available in a game infrastructure. Now this can be hosted on-premise, private cloud, public cloud, or a fully managed solution. Let's go one level deep and understand the basic workflow of a game server. This is the traditional architecture. Two players wanted to play a game. First of all, a user sends a request, and this is where two players wanted to be matched for a game. That's when there is a process called matchmaker comes into picture. This process is essentially matches two game clients for a game based on the rules which you can customize. I'll talk about that more later. But matchmaker is essentially which helps you to make the two servers, and server manager and sends the request to server manager. The server manager is essentially which understands what's there, what is the machine cluster they available, and pick up a dedicated game server within that and sends the information back to the clients which wanted to connect. The reason why this is different from your web server is, in this case, you need a very low latency when a player is actually playing a game. So a dedicated game server is picked up from the machine cluster, and the port is actually given back to the clients, which will be able to connect to a particular game server and start playing the game. And this is a overall workflow. Now we just focus on the right side part of it, which is a server manager and a machine cluster. How you can build that on Kubernetes. So with all the constraints which are listed here, I don't want to go deep dive into the constraints, but I'm going to build a basic game server, connect to it, and start playing with that. This is a script we need to go ahead and execute in a public cloud or a private cloud or your laptop. I'll explain you the step-by-step process, and I'll take you through, and let's start building that.
Let's look at the end-to-end workflow for building a dedicated game server from scratch. First of all, take OpenArena game server and containerize it. Once you containerize, deploy that into a source repository. This can be a cloud source repository, which I'm going to use, or any source repository of your choice. Once you deploy that, once you containerize and have that in the source repository, the next step is to create a disk where you can store all the OpenArena assets. The reason why you need to store that is this comes handy where you can load the assets from a separate disk. The way you can do is create a disk, attach to your temporary virtual machine, store the assets, and then delete the virtual machine, and you have the disks ready. Now, the next step would be creating a Kubernetes cluster on your choice of platform. Here I use Google Kubernetes Engine, but you can use any of Kubernetes Engine of your any cloud of your choice or on your laptop. Once you have the Kubernetes cluster, you can configure the disks or the assets disks in Kubernetes. So you can have a persistent volume claim as configure the assets disks in Kubernetes so that you have access to all the assets. So once the Kubernetes is ready, once the disks assets are ready, the next step would be setting up a scaling manager. The scaling manager is a simple process that scales the number of virtual machines used in the container engine nodes based on the current game server load. Now, the scaling manager is more to do with scaling of your infrastructure based on the number of people using it. But for the demo, just understand that this is one of the for the demo, this is more like an integral part which might or might not be needed, but scaling manager really helps to scale up your VMs. Now, the last step is deploying or requesting a dedicated game server on Kubernetes. So once that is done, all you just need to is test the connection, connect to the OpenArena gameplay server, and you should be able to play the game. Now let's go ahead and start doing that.
Summarize that in very few steps. We containerize the game server. We set up a Kubernetes cluster. We set up a scaling manager, and then we verify the setup. We connect to the dedicated game server, and we will see the demo. Basically, if you look at all the steps are mostly one-time work. The only thing which you need to be doing continuously is like connecting that and Kubernetes cluster. I'm doing that. I'm setting that up on cloud just to make things simple. I don't want to put a lot of effort in actually doing it. The clouds are doing. So this is the Google Cloud Console which I have ready for the demo, and I have the binaries deployed, and all the binaries are there in this folder. Now what we're gonna do is, as a first step, let's build a Docker container for OpenArena and then push that Docker container to Google Cloud image repository. So it will take a moment to image repository. Now let's create a virtual machine where we have all the assets, essential and asset builder. Let's set up region and let's create a virtual machine. So far we did two important things. One, we built an image server for OpenArena, pushed it to image container. We created a virtual machine, and this is where we gonna store all the assets. Now our virtual machine is ready. Now let's connect to our virtual machine. Let's SSH. Meanwhile, when we are SSHing into it, let's create some disks which we're gonna attach to the compute engine which we created just now. We created disks, we created virtual machine, and we're gonna attach the disks to the virtual machine. Now we have a virtual machine with the disks attached. The next step is we configure the virtual machine to make sure that the disks are ready, the assets are ready. So this is our disk. What we're gonna do is format the asset disk, operated assets disk. Now this is where we're gonna have the assets stored. All the assets which are required to play the game are being stored here. And I'm gonna unmount the disk, shut down this virtual machine. So quick recap, we created a virtual machine. We then created a disk in Google Cloud Platform, and we logged in. We attached both of them. We logged into the virtual machine, had all the assets ready. Then we unmounted the disk. We shut down the virtual machine. And the final step, what we're gonna do is we will be ensuring that we are in the same zone, and we will delete the virtual machine we created. We will leave the disks as it is without touching them because we unmounted that anyway. Yes, we will uninstall or delete the entire virtual machine which we don't need anymore because the disks are ready for us. The next step for us is we have the container ready, we have the disks ready, asset disks ready. The next step is creating a Kubernetes cluster. Again, this is also, let's make it quick. Let's use cloud to make sure that we have all the networks ready and then clusters ready for our deployment. So I'm just creating a basic network, and we will apply a firewall rule to open the UDP port for the network. And this is the network where we will use, which we will use to deploy Kubernetes cluster. So I'm creating a 3 node cluster in the network game, which machine type send one standard 2 in the zone which we already configured for. Now let's connect to the cluster which we created. Now once the cluster is ready, the next step is essentially loading the assets or the volumes which we have already to the cluster. So the two important things we need to be doing is creating volume and a volume claim. If you are comfortable with Kubernetes, you'll understand this is how we actually connect or load have a volume attached to the Kubernetes cluster. So we create volume, and if you check the persistent volume which we have an asset volume of 50 GB capacity, and which is ready for which is bound. Now the next step for us is, if you look at persistence claim, it's also bound. It's ready for our usage. The next step we need to be doing is, I mean, this is the same volume we have all the assets which we kind of created and deleted the virtual machine for. The next step for us would be setting up a scaling manager. Scaling manager is not really that important. It's basically a service which helps you to scale your virtual machines if there is a requirement to it. If you're running that on premise, or if you are having trouble in understanding an auto scaling mode of actually loading your virtual machines based on the capacity, and this is where scaling manager. We have the scripts ready for scaling manager. I'm just building that and pushing that scaling manager, the scaling manager also to our image. Get the base instance name, which is to modify certain scripts as part of our code. Now let's export the base instance name as a config and the zone. Now let's print all our configs if they're all right. Yes, they are. Now this is what I'm prepping up some scripts. So what I'm doing is I'm configuring our scale manager to be deployed on this Kubernetes cluster. Now once it is done, I am deploying that, and we have our scale manager ready. The scale manager is getting created. The next step is essentially, which is the most crucial part, is deploying the OpenArena. Now kubectl OpenArena pod pretty much we deployed, and if you see the pod, you'll see them up and running in a moment. Let's test that. So this is how we test the OpenArena. I have the client running ready. Let's see if the pods are ready. Get pods. They're still getting created. Let's give them a moment. All right, OpenArena pod is ready. Let's open, or let's take our OpenArena. Let's open a command prompt from here, and let's copy paste what we have. Here is what we now. Instead of set port, let's remove this and test it. Here we have the game server getting connected, and we have all ready. Great. And so far, you have seen the heavy lifting of how you can actually build a dedicated game server on Kubernetes. You have seen a very the process is very simple. You containerize the dedicated game server. You set up a cluster on any Kubernetes cluster. You set up a scale manager, which essentially its job is to scale up the Kubernetes cluster when there is no enough virtual machines or nodes available. You kind of verify the setup and connect to the game. That's pretty much the bare bone basics we did. The only step extra we did is essentially creating a a virtual machine and a disk where we have all the assets loaded, created that assets as a volume client to Kubernetes, attached that as a volume client to Kubernetes so that you can actually get the assets faster. So this is how you can set up entire cluster or dedicated game server on Kubernetes. But there is an alternative way of doing this. That's called Agonis. Agonis is an open source project, which is a batteries included open source dedicated game server hosting and scaling project built on top of Kubernetes. The key challenge here is uh, you have a lot of requirements in terms of like if your players come from different places and you cannot anticipate this. You have to be ready with this. So Agonis can scale your game servers much faster. You don't need to do all the heavy lifting which you have done so far, which I explained which I explained so far. Agonis will take care of that heavy lifting and give you a flexibility to integrate your game server or your gaming code to make sure that you have all the necessary functionalities built out of Agonis. So again, in Agonis world, a game server application would end up deployed on Agonis. Again, Agonis is deployed in turn on Kubernetes. So with that advantage is you can run that on hybrid environments. Physical machines obviously can reduce the cost. Cloud can handle the cloud burst. I don't. So these are the inherent advantages of running Kubernetes, which Agonis also brings on board. Now, if you go back and remember the traditional architecture, which I mentioned, so in the and we started the discussion is when two players wanted to play, they connect to a matchmaker. Matchmaker in turn sends a request to server manager, which will take out, from the machine cluster available. It will actually pick up a machine, a dedicated game server, send the information back to the gamers, and they would end up playing game connecting to that particular virtual machine or sorry, the dedicated game server there. Now, imagine this in Agonis world. So in Agonis world, everything sits in Kubernetes. Now, Kubernetes, you have a custom matchmaker. Again, custom matchmaker is its where you have a logic to match two gamers or two players. Um, Now, two players sends information to custom matchmaker, which in turn sends a request, match them, and send a request with to Kubernetes API. Now, Kubernetes API sends here's the differentiation. The Kubernetes API, instead of you doing the heavy lifting, it sends a request to Agonis controller, which already have the fleet dedicatedly running for them. I'll talk in detail about the fleet and how what happens behind the lines. But think of this as Agonis controller will now pick up a game server and then passes the information back to the players. So previously, the biggest differentiation from what we discussed so far to now is Agonis is doing the heavy lifting here in terms of just a Kubernetes API call. Controller is taking care of taking out the game server, the entire logic scaling, and then giving you back the game server necessary. You don't need to deploy. You don't need to do all the work which we did so far in terms of creating the assets and building, deploying, and you know putting up a binary, putting that in the image repository, and then essentially deploying that on Kubernetes and making sure that it scales. You don't need to do that. So now, the inherent advantages is Agonis comes with SDK integration, where you can integrate with Agonis for readiness and shutdown health status, and you can also set configurable values. So you can build a game which is now have more functionality, can work with Agonis. The SDK is outright available, and the other features are you can work with multiple cloud providers. Agonis runs on multiple clouds. You have a node auto scaling, which we did in a scaling manager. We created and deployed a scale manager. which you don't need to do that anymore. The local deployment development tools are also available. You have metrics and dashboard to understand how your game servers are performing. Now, this is how the Aganas world looks like. If you're familiar with Kubernetes, this sounds almost equally intuitive to you. So in Aganis, everything is a game server, the basic fundamental building block. Compare this with pod in Kubernetes. This is a basic minimum, bare mode minimum deployment game server, which have where you can define a name and ports. The ports, you don't need to do a dynamic port policy and all in game server. Game server does that for you, and unlike in Kubernetes, you need to configure everything of your own. The final thing is you just pass the image and it will create a game server for you. Now this is great. Now how do you want to? What if you wanted to have like 10,000 game servers in, and you wanted to be ready for any player coming on board and just make sure that they connect? This is where Fleet comes into picture. Fleet and game server are more like pod and deployment in Kubernetes. The Fleet will come with replicas, and a template is equivalent to a game server template, which has a container image, which will make sure that the replicas are maintained and created for your deployment for you to connect. Now this is all great. Now you have game servers, you have Fleet. Now how do you send a request for a game server allocation? Now you have a API. I mean, this is more of a call. You can always call this as an API. So this is declarative, where you can also do an API call. The game server allocation is basically you're requesting Aganis to send you a game server which no one is playing. You can do a lot of other activities. Game server in game server allocation, there are a lot of configurations you can play with. But game server allocation is basically asking or sending a request to the Kubernetes to get you a game server where you can pass and get the details, get the information back to the players. So finally, if you look at the important piece here is once you have all things ready, you also have the next question you might have is this is all great. Now, how do you create a matchmaker like Open Match? We have something called Open Match, which works with Agonis. Again, Open Match is an open source uh, project. A matchmaker built on OpenMatch coordinates the Agonis fleet. It can coordinate with the Agonis fleets. You can write custom logic, custom matchmaking logic in OpenMatch to find compatible players. And basically, OpenMatch can work with Agonis to get a game server from the fleet and finally sends the request back. So putting that and into the big picture, if you revisit the entire discussion, now two clients would end up calling, connecting to OpenMatch, which will match them. The players would, based on the custom logic you write, once the players are matched, it sends a request to Kubernetes API, which in turn requests controller, which gets you a dedicated server, sends the information back to the players so that the players will end up connecting to a dedicated game server and start playing. So this is 100 times better in terms of you managing that from scratch, and you basically Kubernetes comes like the best part of Kubernetes is you can have more controllers. You can write your own custom controllers. Agonis controller comes with a lot of benefits in terms of managing the fleet, managing the dedicated game server, and essentially passing that information back. OpenMatch, Agonis, Kubernetes will help you to build a multiplayer game server, which is highly scalable in nature with low amount of maintenance. All right, let's talk about how easy it is to build the same game server on in Agonis. So this time, the simple process is let's create a Kubernetes cluster, which I already created one for the demo. Now, all you just need to do after that is create a namespace called Agonis and deploy the Agonis platform onto Kubernetes engine, which you already have. Now that's pretty much it is. We have Agonis engine on the top of it. Now, if you describe the entire Agonis namespace, so this is what you'll end up seeing. You have a lot of replica sets. You have a lot of controllers which are getting created, a lot of details here. So it's the deployment is ready, the conditions are met. Let's create a game server. So for this demo, what we're gonna do is gonna take a we're gonna take a simple UDP game server, or I mean, all the information for Aganis is available at dot dev. That's pretty much the site. Now, if you wanted to have all the information is available here. So if you Google search Aganis examples, you have so many examples available. So I'm just replicating one here. What I'm doing is I have the Aganis server. I'm just creating a game server which calls. I mean, it's a simple game. Whatever I just send on a UDP, I'll get an echo back. So I have a UDP. I mean, I have a simple UDP so game server created on Aganis. Now this is where the magic is. If you see QCTL gets game servers, you'll end up seeing the game server types now. Now, if you look at pods, you'll see the pod. The game servers are now actually a pod. You'll see a difference between the pod definition and the how the pod is displayed versus the game server is being displayed there. So the pods are ready. If you go ahead and retrieve the game server IP address, you have the IP address. Now let's connect to game server. Before, to connect to the game server, we can just create a simple virtual machine and open that virtual machine and say hello to this game server and see how it will be done. Let's create a virtual machine. Um, Simple UDP server which is running on Aganis. Let's connect that with Netstat and see what it is responding with. NC minus hyphen use and say hello, acknowledge. So what we are doing is we created a virtual machine connected to our game server, sitting there and got an acknowledgement out of it. So which means our game server is actually working. We go back. What we discussed so far is we actually kind of actually created, deployed Aganos on a Kubernetes controller, and then we just ran a game server, deployed a game server, and Aganos took care of actually creating fleet, creating game server, and then we were able to connect to a dedicated game server by just from another virtual machine. So that's how it is. That's simple. It is connecting from Aganos, and the fire. I mean, there are a couple of references which I wanted to point out. All this information in terms of how you can build a game server, everything is available step by step. Against.dev will help you to understand more details about the project. And the entire script which I actually executed as part of this project are there in the links which are shown on the page here. Thank you. Thanks for having me and have a nice day. Thanks, everyone.